Good afternoon, everyone. I'm currently in Jakarta in the office of Swiss-Belhotels with Matthew Faull, and Matthew is the Director and Senior Vice President of E-commerce. And it's great to be here over a cup of coffee, and thanks for the lunch.
No, it's very good to have you in town, Tarun.
So yeah, I'm just about to ask Matt a few questions to get some good insights. Can you introduce us briefly to your hotels groups in a minute's time?
Okay, well, our hotel group is Swiss-Belhotel International. We're a global hotel chain with offices in Indonesia, Dubai, Australia and New Zealand, Malaysia and Vietnam. We currently have about 105 hotels opening, and we're growing quickly every year. I guess we tend to focus on the 3 and 4 star market, though we have some great 5-star brands such as Mau and Nusa Penida, and we'll be opening up some more of those in the near future. So yeah, that'll be our hotel group.
Nice, 105 is quite commendable. I understand your family started from humble beginnings with dairy farming. Can you please tell us a bit more on this, and how did you land up in the hospitality industry?
Well, a number of generations ago, my father's family had a dairy farm in a small town called Chikarangi in Taranaki, which is in the middle of the North Island of New Zealand. He grew up there in Chikarangi, him and his 4 brothers. They spent some time on the farm, but also helping my grandfather's foursquare shop there as well. But they grew up there, and they all went to university. They all sort of did their own thing after university. When my father finished university, he actually followed up on a job ad in Hong Kong to join Pete Marwick,
Nice.
accounting firm, which is what became KPMG. So he went to Hong Kong, joined Pete Marwick, and then after he'd been there for a few years, he managed to get the position of financial controller for the hotels in the Peninsula Group in Hong Kong, and that's what brought him into hospitality. And so since then, he's spent since joining the Peninsula Group, he's spent the last 45 years in hospitality in the Peninsula Group in Hong Kong, in charge of as CEO of Kingsgate Hotels in New Zealand and Australia. And then after that, when he joined his ex-Peninsula boss, Peter Gauci at Swiss-Belhotel. And since then, he's been running Swiss-Belhotel with his partner since 1990. So yeah, so he's been doing hospitality for 45 years. I guess I've been around hotels most of my life now, as well as my brothers. That said, I only joined the company about 12 years ago. So
That's a brilliant story, really, and well done. So it's an interesting insight, but your family still owns dairy farms and have a few hundred cattle?
We've still got the family dairy farm in Taranaki. Since then, since about 1990, my father, with the support of his brothers, but my father really worked hard to try and develop and grow the dairy farm in Taranaki. So it's gone from a few hundred cows to now being about 1,300 cows on the dairy farm in Taranaki. So it's grown a fair amount. It's added a sort of a high-tech rotary cow shed and a few other additions, and it's added some more land and leased some land to the farm as well. So
It's quite a mix, right? One side of the spectrum, you've got hotels, the other side, dairy farming. It's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to say, I don't deal so much with the dairy farm. I seem to be bouncing around Asia most of the time, but my brother Oliver and my father are both very passionate about it, and work with our fantastic share milkers, Amy and Brent Stevenson. So yeah, they've been doing well with that farm.
Awesome. So what's the total count of your hotels? I think you mentioned 105, and how many in the pipeline?
So yeah, we've hit, I think off the top of my head, 105 hotels operating at the moment globally. And on top of that, including the hotels in the pipeline, that would be 150 hotels. So after the 105, we have another 45 or so to open over the next couple of years. And we're aggressively trying to grow that pipeline at the moment in different regions around the world.
Fabulous. So with so many hotels and new ones in the pipeline, you have a set process which you replicate from time of signing up a new hotel until it opens?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, at Swiss-Belhotel International, whether it's a takeover or a new build hotel, we work closely with the owner of the property development company right from the inception point in terms of potentially looking at business cases for them, potentially helping them select the land they want to build the hotel on, giving them an honest opinion on the potential of the land or the type of the hotel we think would work there. And that all comes through with our technical services. So it's all from the conception stage to the breaking ground stage, where we're helping them, holding their hands, reviewing the plans and so forth, to the build stage, the fit out stage, to the pre-opening stage with the marketing, hiring, HR, engineering, and management, and so forth phases, to managing the hotel on their behalf when the hotel opens. So we take them all from the very start to the end. And we have a similar process for when we take over hotels from other brands or from independent owners which want some help managing their hotel. Everything from HR, training the staff on the Swiss-Belhotel ethos and standards, to integrating our systems, and especially, obviously, integrating the Swiss-Belhotel online distribution systems, of which STAAH is our major partner there.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And I guess that's where you see the growth, from 105 looking at about 150, considering the time it's taken you to reach 105, and then now your growth is going to be to 150 really quickly.
Oh, absolutely. And we're aiming to double that in the next 3 or 4 years as well. So
fabulous. So you have your father, Gavin, who's extremely passionate about his business. I'm still to meet someone as passionate and witty, I must admit, as Gavin. And, then you also have your two brothers, Oliver and Edward. So who looks after which part of the business?
My father is the CEO, president, and chairman, and he's still running the business. And he's still kicking our asses on a daily basis.
Like all fathers.
Exactly. So yeah, he's still driving the business from the leadership position. My brother Oliver, he oversees the farm business, but he also works on the group finance side of the business with our CFO Trevor Pun. And on top of that, he also oversees the Australia-New Zealand hotel business. My other brother Edward is in charge of basically the global project development and business development pipelines. And on top of that, he's also in charge of the engineering, maintenance, and other aspects of the project team globally. And outside of that, he has a focus on developing the hotel brand in Vietnam and Malaysia and so forth. And he's currently based in Vietnam probably 50% of the time, and then visits the other regions and locations for the other 50%. So he's really working hard on trying to grow our Vietnam pipeline, but also working quite a lot on Malaysia as well.
Vietnam surely is looking strong at the moment across, isn't it? Everyone seems to be talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And my role in the business is basically executive director, but also my area of expertise being the e-commerce, the global distribution, the commercial side of the business, and also on top of that, IT. And then for my area and region, I'm based in Indonesia, and I work on the Indonesian region from a corporate side a lot of the time as well.
Nice. So I know you all take part in a lot of trade shows. I see you all often, and for example, the Arabian Travel Mart, which is sometime in May this year. To participate in these exhibitions, it isn't really cheap. How do you all measure ROI and success in participating in these exhibitions?
From my perspective, yeah, you really have to pick and choose the trade shows you attend in terms of maximizing your ROI. But that depends also on the type of trade show and the type of people you send there. For somewhere like the Arabian Travel Mart, we would send both sales and business development there. The sales team, their ROI target is basically the reactivation of sales sources, sales channels, and so forth, and finding new sales channels and new markets where our hotels can be sold, whether that's meeting up with major travel agents, wholesalers, or particular market managers. So their ROI is basically to generate as much business out of that trade show from their contacts as possible over the following 12 months. And for them, you probably don't see the return. You'll see some of the immediate return in the following 4 to 6 weeks, but obviously more of the sales ROI, sometimes you don't see it for 6 to 12 months after the trade show. So it's very important to get the contacts list off your sales team afterwards. From the point of business development, it's meeting property developers, finding out about new markets where people would potentially want to develop Swiss-Belhotel hotels, talking with colleagues in the area, which may be able to give you information on where to go hunting for those projects. And I guess the third thing would be is for market information, whether that's the seminars at the trade show they conduct or at the networking events where you're basically talking with the other people and finding what's going on, what's changing in the market, if you need to change your own business in a particular way based upon what's going on around. And yeah, obviously that's with the usual gossip fest that goes on there too.
True. It is a big gossip fest for sure. STAAH has moved their e-commerce office from Jakarta to Bali, and home for you is Bali. You also have large OTAs having their local offices now in Bali. So what's so special in Bali? I mean, it's normally the perception is it's a good touristy place, but having so many e-commerce offices, OTAs moving there, what's the insight on that?
I mean, Bali is considered like an island place, but I mean, it's actually an island of about 6 million people, so it's not necessarily that small. In terms of Indonesia obviously being the third largest country in Asia and the fourth largest country in the world in terms of population, Bali would be the largest leisure destination for the entire country and has been for the past 20 years. That means that basically all the large OTAs and wholesalers have their large international OTAs and wholesalers tend to have their Indonesia headquarters in Bali. So moving our e-commerce team out of Jakarta to Bali, one, helps us acquire talent with experience in both the international and domestic markets. And two, where my office is located in Bali, it's within 500 meters walk of our top 5 distribution partners' offices. So after lunch, I can go for a walk over to some of these offices and ask them why they are doing something strange with their rates, etc.
Good stuff. I didn't realize Bali has 6 million people. I mean, New Zealand in total has 5 million, so that's quite a number. So among all your hotels with STAAH, the maximum number of hotels are in Indonesia. You'll have some good focus, even in the Middle East. But what's your growth strategy from here?
We were working with one of our partners in Indonesia to aggressively grow Indonesia, and we're investing in that to grow it further. We see a huge amount of potential in the country. The whole country is 270 million people from memory, and there's still a lot of cities, especially in East Indonesia, which are growing, where we think we can bring our brand to and our hospitality to for Indonesia. But outside of that, we also have business development teams working to grow our market in Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand. And we've recently opened 2 more hotels in Kenya and Nairobi. Nice. So we've also, our business development out of the Middle East, our Dubai office, is working hard to grow our Africa footprint as well. So I would say those are our major areas of growth. That said, we also have some properties coming up in Australia and New Zealand. Later in the year, you'll see a new Swiss-Belhotel coming up in Brisbane. So we are trying to grow everywhere. But I would say our focus is still Middle East, Indonesia for organic growth, Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, and perhaps soon China for our new growth areas.
Nice. The online and tech landscape is constantly evolving. What are your thoughts on this, and can you share some examples?
I would say the most amount of growth we've seen in online tech lately actually related to the massive amount of change for tech and hotels during COVID as they changed their systems to be contactless and so forth. That was a massive force change, but a change that probably should have happened years ago in some respects. Yes, it does limit the human interaction in some ways, but we've seen a lot of growth there in terms of menus coming online, mobile phone-based menu purchasing and ordering systems and communication systems. Though the next explosion I see, which is the same buzzword that everyone else is using, is probably AI. That said, AI has been used in revenue management systems for years now to great effect. But I'm interested to see how the newer AI, large LLVM, large language modules can suck in data and come out with better revenue management prediction systems. Also, some of the AI chat systems like BookMeBob / Mime AI.
Yep.
That's been doing some really good stuff in terms of the way I see it responding to people. It's improved in leaps and bounds in the last 12 months. So yeah, I think AI is the exciting area for new development here. It just depends on how people can use it, and hopefully all the privacy concerns that are associated with it can be addressed and protected from.
Yeah. Well, the last question for you, let's rewind a few years back, assuming you've just started to get into the hospitality industry. What's the one thing you would have done differently?
I think what I would have done differently is, one, worked out automated group hotel unit reporting earlier on.
Right.
Because timely data is good data and accurate data. Timely, accurate data is the best data to help you run a business. Two, I probably would have rolled out a integrated loyalty system across the group earlier on. We've only done that recently in the last few years, a proper online one, and with our SPC executive card system. And three, I probably would have worked harder to find better ways to standardize the hotel PMS systems earlier on. It's really great that we have a group-wide standard of using STAAH for all of our hotels for our distribution system. I just wish I had managed to roll out a few more group-wide IT system standards.
So I think to your point one, where you say reporting, I think it's all about data, right? And
Yeah.
That's where the AI ticks in as well. If you've got the right data, it just helps streamline things better. You get more visibility.
Absolutely. And if you're giving AI garbage data, then the AI is going to give you garbage back.
Absolutely. And the third point you mentioned is some sort of consolidation within the PMS companies. So, are you looking to consolidate to one single PMS company, or it just depends region to region?
At the moment, it depends region for region. The fun thing with PMS is, one, language issues. Two, the local support of various tax policies requirements and accounting requirements. And three, local support. There's very few PMS vendors which can supply all of that. So for a reasonable price. So being able to find ways to standardize that would be advantageous and helpful. We are looking to ways to do that. At the moment, we probably use 3 major PMS systems, but across the group, there's probably about 11 different PMS systems out there. STAAH has been nice enough to integrate with all of those and work with us on that. That said, if you have the same or similar PMS, it just makes it so much easier for reporting, guest experience, consistency, and so forth. So finding a way to do that in an economic manner would have been nice. And yeah.
I think at some stage you will come to a point where there'll be some consolidation, really.
At some stage there will be some consolidation. I have a few more projects to sort out before I get to that one, but that one will happen.
Awesome. That's all. Thank you so much for your time, Matt. Much appreciated. And hopefully the viewers will get a bit of an insight on what you do and how you manage your business.
Absolutely. And really good to have you back in Jakarta again, Tarun. Thank you.
Thank you.